welcome back. Oh my god, it's been what, like a century or two since last time I was here? Like, first of all, I'm so sorry. This is like an apology. I have been so extremely just out of my mind this last couple weeks that even though I've been trying to make my schedule work and like my to-do list and whatever, I've just been all over the place. I feel like before I even start just rambling, I need to do like a little bit of an update because it's been so long that I can't just like start rambling. So first of all, I just gotta get this out of my chest because I just finished reading what is now so far one of my favorite like romantasy series I've read in a while, and that is the series of the Bridge Kingdom. So I just finished the second book, which is the Traitor Queen, and it is so good. Like the first book, I just absolutely loved it. Like I don't think I have anything that I did not like about the whole book. Like I loved the way it was written, I loved the characters, I loved the plot, I loved the pacing. It was amazing. And I was so excited to read the second one. So right after I finished like the last page of the first book, I immediately went online and ordered it on Barnes & Noble's website. So once it arrived, I read it like in like 2 days, and oh my god, I was so in love. It's so good. It's a 4-part series, but the first 2 books are about our main characters in this series, which is Lara and King Aaron. So the next 2 books that of course I am going to read, it's on the same world, it's the same story, but now we're gonna see the perspective of other 2 characters which were already mentioned here, and I already like them because in the second book they were mentioned at the beginning, but like in the second book we get to see them a little bit more and what their story is all about and what's going on their side of this war that's happening. So it's so good and I'm so excited to keep reading. So yeah, I absolutely recommend it. Oh my god, it's so good. And I bought, because the author of this book, Danielle L. Jensen, obviously just has my heart in her hands. So I bought another one of her books, and I think it's a newer one. This one is published this year. It's called A Fate Inked in Blood, and it's a saga of the unfated. Book 1. So this is a series, of course. I just noticed that now, so I'm very excited. I only grabbed it because I read the little like summary of what it's supposed to be about and of what it's about, and it's the same author of this series that I now love, so I grabbed it immediately. I didn't even check if it was a series or anything, so it's a good surprise to know. And also just let's appreciate this because I love a good cover. And look at look at that. So yeah, I'm very excited. But whenever I read series like this, where it's like a fictional universe or like a romance, anything that like really transports you to another world and it has like a different system of how things work, I feel like it takes a lot of my brain. It's like I genuinely was there and now you're bringing me back to real life, and it takes me like a minute before I can just go to another world like that. Like I cannot just jump from fantasy to fantasy. I need to read like something in between that is not like a fantasy, or at least not a series, so that I can, almost like a palate cleanser, you know, so I can be like, okay, I'm ready to introduce myself to a new reality with new rules and new systems and everything. So I got this book. This is The Metamorphosis and Other Stories by Franz Kafka. So yeah, I'm very excited to start reading it. It's so cute. Like, this. Look at the little comic strips of the stories in the book. And let me see, I actually didn't see how many stories are in this book. Okay, so there's many stories. There's like 2 pages worth of titles. So it's very exciting. And I am planning to read the whole thing, but at least, because I just want to go for like a little bit of a story before I continue the next book that I'm so excited to read. I think I might just read like one story at a time. Like I'll read one from Kafka and then go to my next fantasy, and then once I'm done with that, I'll go back to Kafka. Let's see, maybe, I don't know. But I'm just excited to read all of it. Oh my god, I can't even decide. I can't pick what I want to read next. I am just very overwhelmed in a good way because this is a good problem to have. And just to quickly conclude my little book haul, this one Oh my god, I have been trying to get for so long. This is the Sofia Coppola archives, and it's just a bunch of pictures and behind the scenes of her movies, which I don't know if you know, but I'm very obsessed with, like absolutely, completely obsessed with Sofia Coppola's work. So I needed this, and the moment that it came out, I wanted to buy it, but it was like, it's a little bit pricey, so I wanted to buy it in person for some reason. I absolutely cannot even explain, but sometimes when it's like pricier things, like books and stuff like that, I like to see them when I buy them. I don't know why. So I was just waiting so that I could find it at my Barnes & Noble, and every time I go, it was always gone. So this was the first time I go, and it was the last one. Even like the wrapping, the plastic wrapping was like a little bit like broken. I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care. I can't wait anymore. So I got it. It's in perfect condition, so it's all good. I don't care that the plastic was broken. But yeah, like look at this. Like, hello. I am so excited. So I haven't really gone through it yet because of course I gotta be ridiculous and extra about it, you know? I don't want to just like go by and look at some pages. I want to be in the mood. I need to light some candles. I need to get my tea. I need to get on my couch with a blanket and like have some storm sounds playing on my TV so that I can appreciate this book. And one of the main reasons why I really wanted this book is because she has been one of my main inspirations for my art lately, and it's because I love just the way that her art makes me feel. Like, even if there's super different stories, different settings, like The Beguiled is like, you know, a complete different time period from the Virgin Suicides, for example. It's just that feeling of like girly, and in every sense, from, you know, all the fun scenes in Marie Antoinette to the really dark and sad sides of basically all of her movies. It's just like the girl experience. Like, she gets girlhood, you know? And I just absolutely love that, and that is kind of what I want to be able to express through my art, regardless of what I'm painting and how different the theme is. I just want to have that feeling of like almost like a nostalgia of a girlhood that wasn't necessarily yours, but you can still relate to somehow. That's how I feel with her movies, and that is what I want to transmit with my art. So I wanted to get like a physical copy of some of her work and just like absorb and appreciate and learn and really get into it. I love it. I'm so excited. Also, it's a pink book, like it's my favorite color. So I am gonna have to display this somewhere in my house. Like, this is gonna be the center of attention when you walk into my living room. So yeah. Okay, but now that we're done with that little bit of a book update and haul, I want to get on topic because I have been wanting to do this for a little bit, and it's basically have some sort of like an artist journals kind of videos, because I'm trying to be better, but I am not the best at vlogging. I feel like I struggle a little bit when it comes to just doing other things at the same time as I'm recording. So I'm more of I like to sit down here and just talk about things. So I've been trying to think like, how can I make it a little bit more interesting than just talking and just saying things. So I wanted to share a little bit of my art process, not only in the technical sense, like the painting, but the creative side of it, like the way that my ideas come to me and how I transform a thought into a painting, basically, because there's like a lot of a process. And I know I've explained it before, but I kind of want to make just a constant thing of it where I come and show you the whole process behind each individual painting, not just explaining what the steps are, but just actually showing you like, okay, for this painting, this is what I thought, and this is how I moved on with it, and blah blah blah. So that is kind of what I want to do today, because I have been having ideas and epiphanies, and I thought to myself today, what a perfect opportunity to start with these like videos than today, because I got my journals, I got my sketchbooks, I got my pencils. So instead of just doing it all by myself alone in a corner, I thought I'll do it with you. So here we are. And for this, I actually got a new little sketchbook, and it's nothing special, it's just regular, just cheap sketchbook, and some color pencils. And some color pencils so that it makes it a little bit easier for me to do my brainstorming, because usually I have two separate, like a journal where I just write the ideas because I love writing first, and then on a separate sketchbook I kind of just like draw randomly. But I was thinking maybe if I could have a little bit more of like a mix between the two, so I want to keep both ideas, like written ideas and sketches in my sketchbook, and eventually I want to move forward with just that. But I am very methodical about things that probably don't make sense, but they just do in my brain. So yeah, that's why I want to kind of start a new little sketchbook, and I'll do it with you. This one is not meant to look perfect. There's not gonna be any, proportions or too much detail. This is 100% only to plan out paintings, kind of just to have an idea of what elements I want to add in it, maybe positions, color palette, stuff like that. But there's not gonna be anything that is like beautiful or even worth posting. So yeah, I'll share the process, but this is more about the idea. This is the journey, not the destination. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what my current epiphany, my current hyperfixation is, because I have a new one every month. So lately I have been super obsessed with fairies, and even though that is obviously something constant with me because I am obsessed with fantasy in general, I want to specifically work with fairies. And the thing is that I saw a very nostalgic video online that reminded me of my childhood, which was very, like, there was a lot of fairies involved in my childhood. And it's that game, I forget the name, that's how long it's been. But it's like a Tinkerbell game where you can make your own little fairy and you work and you do your things online. You have like this fictional world that you're a part of online, and the game, it's gone. But I kind of want to feel that same feeling of just being in this fictional world for a little bit when we're all fairies, and where you can put yourself into your character. So you are bringing a little bit of reality into it, where you're still you, but you are your fairy self. You're customizing yourself to look like the fairy version of you. So I hope that makes sense. But that was like the main source of this idea that I got. And I want to work on like a series that is fairy themed, but I wanted to have a very relatable, almost contemporary feeling to it, where it feels like just real girls from today just transferred, just teleported into this fairy world. So I am going to include modern elements like technology, or like maybe just modern fashion, makeup, stuff like that, but just make it into its most fairy version of itself. So that's what I'm gonna do today. We're gonna plan and sketch a couple fairies and a couple just setting up the world ideas, and I am going to be using my new sketchbook for that because we're going to doodle. Okay, so after sketching them, I think I am gonna select the bottom one to start painting first. And I think the reason for that is because I always like to, when I work on series or paintings that are supposed to be part of a series, I love when it feels like I'm telling a story. So I need to find like some order to it, so it's like a sequence. And I think this one to me feels like the beginning of it, because here I'm not gonna add a lot of elements that make her look so much like a fairy. I want her to look basically just human, but the way that she's looking up and almost like noticing the little fairies and butterflies around her for the first time, it's gonna be an introduction. So basically this is gonna be the moment where you look up away from whatever your everyday life is and you realize all the magic that's around you, whether that is walking out when the night is starting to come and you see the little fireflies, or the moment you see the stars starting to come out. All of those little things that happen every single day around us, but we just don't notice them. That is what I want this portrait to kind of feel like. I want it to look as magical as possible as well, while making it very clear this is not a fictional world, this is not a fairy world, these are the things you'll find in your everyday world. So yeah, I am gonna add some details to her so it looks like she's little by little, like she's in the middle of transforming to like a little bit more of a fairy vibes to her, but I want the focus to be more on her facial expression and her eyes looking at these little dots of light and little flying creatures around her. I think one of the main reasons why I am so excited to work on this series and why I love these little fairy stories is because they are always so close to reality, in the sense that they're always in our world, in our forest, like things that you could find in your everyday walks to your backyard, or just by looking closer at the little flowers. And that to me is so like, it makes me go back to being a little girl, because it's one thing to enjoy stories of a fictional world, which I absolutely adore, but it's the little things that make it feel like your everyday life could be a little more. Yeah, I am gonna have a lot of fun working with this one, and hopefully I am going to actually finish this series, because usually when I start series I take so long to work on them and then I just decide to start something else. So I never abandon them, it's just I take way too long to finish them. But I am very obsessed with this right now, so let's just hope the obsession lasts enough that I can keep my focus here, even though, you know, I might just start working on another thing at the same time, because of course, but let's hope. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm gonna be doing this more often, where I kind of show you the process of each little sketch and idea, and that becomes a painting, so that I can express with my words as well what are the stories I'm trying to portray with my paintings. But yeah, it's just fun. I like to basically read out loud or tell you what it's in my little journals, my little art journals. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time with my next video that will be a study with me, because I'm already excited. I've already pulled the books and we are gonna be studying about more artists next time. So see you next time. Bye!